What's going on, Leets and Geeks? Today we have a game that we're going to take a look at, and this is a game that I did a previous video on, but it wasn't the entire game, and even technically today it's not the entire game either. But one of the goals of RPG Elite and the network as a whole is to help promote those people who are just coming out with their own things. They ain't got a lot of money behind them. They're just coming out and trying to do their thing, trying to put out a quality product. So I don't mind supporting these cats. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. Because today, they have a Backerkit going on. So we're going to take a look at what they had sent me before, what they sent me just recently, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at their Backerkit page so you guys will know what you will get if you decide that you want to go and support them. So let's get into this right now and roll that transition. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to do a comparison, because as I said, they had sent me like their what's called game system primer, and then they have a 2.0 version which they just sent me recently. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. So this is the old version right here, and this is the business card right there. Odin's Key Gaming is the name of the company, and this was the original. And I remember saying a couple things about this, but this was the original primer. And so when I see that, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is not the actual game. And so in both cases, I don't have the actual game. And so some of the comments that I make about this today, this is not a review, we're just going to take a look at this and just to kind of get a basic layout of what it is that you possibly will get. But it was this right here that did it. This print you need a microscope to read it. It's just hard on the eyes, and that's not a good thing. Just a basic design thing for those of you who go and design tabletop RPGs. There are certain fonts that are always used, and it's for a reason, and it's because it's easier on the eyes. When it's more readable, obviously, if it's a book, then people are going to stay in it more and want to learn about it more. So we want to make that as comfortable as they possibly can. So choosing the right fonts, choosing the right size of fonts, even the design and all the rest of that stuff matters. So this is one of the things that I actually had mentioned, that this is, you can't see this stuff. I could put it straight up here and it's still hard to see. So that's one of the things that they had said that they had fixed. And it was only for a couple of those right there. But this is as you can see here, that's the thickness of the first primer that I was given. Now the second primer is this one right here, and that's the thickness there. This primer here, I think is, let me see, it's 157 pages here. But this one here is 195 pages, I believe, full. Yes, it is 195 pages. So you've got more pages on the 2.0 primer. You can see the thickness, and we can just compare it side by side here as you can look. So you got double the thickness on this one here. We're going to take a look at this, and we'll take a look on the inside. So they got their logo here, Odin's Key Gaming. And it gets into what kind of game is this, and we go into a couple of the other things that they have going on here in terms of how to use this book. Decent art here, I like that. You just got some, even if you got some halfway decent art, that'll work. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't have to be all super expensive and all the rest of that stuff and whatever. That's not necessary. It just has to look good. It has to be laid out well, and it has to look good. And one of the things that I have here down on the side is like where you are at specifically. So that's kind of good. So it says it's a D20 system. It says D20 system over here. And so that's what we're going to get into. But just realize, yep, you got another D20 system. And then it just gives you a basic overview here on some of the things like combat encounters, expeditions, things like that. But it just really starts getting into stats and powers and things like that, and how things work. They start getting to area of effect and how that works. And this can be with a virtual tabletop, or it could be with a tabletop. So it just depends on how that floats your boat type of deal. And then again, it gets straight into combat and things like that. Gets into the origins. They have different types of archetypes that you can be. And I think I kind of went over this before. And here's the archetypes right here. So you got your Arbiter, which are just kind of like your support characters. You got your Blaster, which is your range DPS. You got your Bruiser, which is kind of like your melee DPS. Your Guardian, which is the tank. And you have your Hunter, which I believe is kind of like a mix, kind of like a range DPS slash utility character. I'm gonna guess that this is a utility character most likely. So you got this, and then you can pick your species. So it's got a lot of things that you can do in terms of creating your character. So there, like I said, today is their Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter. Man, it's kind of similar, but not the same. Today is their Backerkit. And so let's go ahead and let's look at what they have over on their Backerkit, so you can see whether or not this is something that you want to get into and go ahead and support. Okay, so here we are. We are on the Indominant Backerkit page here. So I'm going to give you a brief overview. You can go ahead and go over to the Backerkit page to look at this in detail. I'll leave a link for that down in the description for you. But let's go ahead and just get a brief overview of some of the main things here. So right here, you have the kind of summary of the game, deep character customization, tactical teamwork. The more you use something, the better you get. I like that. I do like that. That is a good mechanic right there. Because, sometimes people just, they increase things in their character, and it's like, man, they never used it. So why should it be increased? It doesn't make any sense. So I do like that. Signature powers, we'll look at that and kind of, again, brief overview here. 1,250 unique character customization combinations, 480 unique powers, and over 1,500 unique talents. That is quite a bit. That's quite a bit. Now, if you get in on these early bird rewards here, if you get in on the first 48 hours of the Backerkit, and by the time you watch this video, it's only been going for a few hours. So if you get in the first 48 hours, you're going to get two things: a 3D printable Indominant Drive tracker. So it's supposed to be some kind of clip-on pointer for the character sheet drive meter. Not real sure what that is, but I'm sure you will find out what it is when you get it. But you also get this Indominant custom die. Now that's cool. Okay, that's cool. So if you want this, no matter what pledge level that you get, and we'll look at that in a second, then you need to get in on the first 48 hours, because then you're going to have to, if it's after that, then you're going to need to go into one of the higher tier pledge levels in order to get that. This campaign here has two different versions of Indominant. One is a standard version of the SIC, which is the Supers Informational Codex. And then you have the collector's edition of it. Now, as you can see, there's a slight difference on the cover here. You have in the standard one a kind of art style that's more modern looking. And then you have over here in the deluxe edition a more kind of classic, older style, older kind of comic book style. So depending on what floats your boat, and this one here over on the deluxe edition is kind of more colorful there. So depending on which one that whatever one floats your boat there, and whatever pledge level that you get, you have these two that are available in this campaign. Now let's look at these pledge levels here. Let's break it down. So you have the digital only pledge level. And so that's just getting the PDF of the game. But then you have, here's the super. And the super one is the PDF and the hardcover of the standard, which is good. And then you have the deluxe, which is the collectors and the digital. So I'm going to surmise that a lot of people probably get that, but You also have the super team pledge level, which is just multiple copies of the supers level. So if you look here, you have the hero, the super hero level, right? And hopefully I'm getting that right. It was kind of small, but if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the super hero level there. And it's multiples of that. So that's what the super team level is. And then you have the deluxe team, which is multiples of the deluxe pledge level over here. And then you have two special levels at the high end. Now, one of the things about the deluxe team is that you will get that D20, that custom D20 if you buy that. So you get multiples of it and you get the D20. Now over here, you get two different, at the far end here, you have two different levels. It's multiples of the game. And you also get that D20, you get that clip on. So you get that. And you also get your name in the book. And you get to create a talent for the game. That's pretty cool. On the other end of it, which is the far end, which is the architect, you get almost everything that you get with the researcher level, except you get to make a power set instead of creating a talent for the game. So those are all of the different levels that you're going to be able to get here. Now I'm going to skip over this stuff because I need to go to one and I need to keep it 100 for all you people out there. And it's this section right here. And so I want to read this because this is important to understand if you're going to come over and support the game. Indominate brings the crunch. Those 4 words right there warns you about the type of game that this is. If you don't like the crunch, then this probably is not a game that you're going to get into. I'm keeping it 100. Yes, he has supported me. Yes, I'm supporting him right back. But I don't want to waste your time either. You're my audience. And so if you don't get into crunch, they've admitted it. This is a crunchy game. And so if that's not your deal, this probably ain't going to be your bag, right? The hybrid action economy, very cool. So you can move, you can make a main action, you can do a minor action, and you have a reaction. And I like that part. They also have these signature powers here. And I like the way he put it together here in this kind of like comic book page look where it talks about signature powers, which is in the game. And again, I'm not going to get into that in details. You can go over to the page here, link in the description, take a look at it. You have what's called momentous actions here. And then you have your character building. It starts talking about all your different archetypes. And again, it really focuses in, hones in on that. You have your Arbiter, which is a support character, your Blaster, range DPS, Bruiser is melee DPS, Guardian is tank, and you have your utility character in the Hunter. It begins to explain all that stuff right here down at the bottom, so you can go through and take a look at that. And also, you take a look at all these power sets here, so it gives you the basic categories of all the different power sets that you have in Indominate. It also has a little video right here if you want to go and take a look at it. You can get a primer of this. So if it's starting to look like this is something that you might be interested in, go over to DriveThruRPG, download the primer, take a look at it, see if this is something you can take a look at it and really see if this is something that you want to back. And if it is, then use the link down in the description. You can play it on Foundry. Now, I'm not sure if they have an entire system. I don't have to look that up, right? And I'll let you guys know down in the description. So I'm doing that after the fact here. Or actually, I might do it at the very tail end of this video. Just go and take a look at it. And then they have their own, over on the Discord server, they have your own Discord server. And then this is where you get all your different levels and what this looks like and what you will get with these different levels, these pledge levels, which we've already gone through in detail. But look at the price on some of these. So you got your digital at $24.95, goes to $49.95. This is a good deal. And even a $64.95 is a good deal for the collectors for this deluxe hero. You have your super team one, so that's 4 different versions of the hardcover, and you have the digital edition, and you have 4 of those. $245 for the deluxe team. Researcher is $350, and the architect is a cool $1,000 where you get pretty much just about everything. And you can have some of these as an add-on. They also have here a combat tracker. So there's a combat tracker that you can get as well. And you can get what I just showed you, the primer physical book, the 2.0 primer physical book, which is what they have. And then they have their different stretch goals and what they're looking to accomplish here. So printable power cards, that'll be convenient actually, if you can get that. They have the first one is a soundtrack. So if you're using sound, the new calling called Socialite, if they get that. So if they reach these stretch goals, then that is what you can expect. So all in all here, again, if you want to go ahead and you want to take a look at this game in detail, take a look at the Backerkit. The thing that I would suggest that you do, go to DriveThruRPG, get the primer, look it over in depth. Then if it looks like, man, I think I'm digging this game, and you feeling that, go over to the Backerkit. Again, link is down in the description. Take a look at which level that you want to pledge at and go and help a brother out. The Indominate Superhero Tabletop RPG over on Backerkit right now, and you can get in early on this so you can get those free early rewards. Hey, if you got any value out of this video today at all, could you do a brother a solid? Give me a little YouTube algorithm love and crush that like button, or you can just tap it. Nah, crush it. Also, if you want to, I come out with videos every Tuesday, God willing. And if you don't want to miss any of the other videos that I may come out with, because it just depends on what's happening that week, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. All right, y'all, let's get to the question of the vid, which is kind of two-pronged. Not kind of two-pronged, is two-pronged. And the question is this. So we've done a pretty good overview of the game, but again, I would suggest you go ahead and do your due diligence, see if it's something that you want to support. But from what you've seen so far, what do you like and what do you dislike about the Indominate Superhero Tabletop RPG? Because I think that is going to be more helpful for them, because my hope is that they don't just make this, but they continue to improve upon the game. And also, one of the things that I saw is that, you know, this is for 2 to 6 players, and you really should have a solo system, because that is something that's popular today. I'm just saying, you know, just putting it out there. All right, y'all, that's going to be it for me. So that means got to do my snaggle put.
So exit, stage left.
Hey, if you're going to be playing a game this week, then happy gaming, y'all. I pray it is an RPG Elite session. So in the meantime, between time, go ahead and take a look at this video right here. But until then, it's your boy, Servant of Shiloh. I got to go. Peace. 5,000 Leets. Oh, that's right. I'm gone.